Thank you, Chair, and good evening, Commissioners. I am Michael Roque, Senior Contract Planner with Rincon Consultants, working as an extension of city staff of the City of Oxnard Planning Division. The project being presented before you tonight is for Planning and Zoning Permit number 17-500-11 for a U-Haul renovation and conversion project located at 2420 North Oxnard Boulevard. This is a recommendation to the City Council, who will be the final decision maker on this project. The applicant is requesting a special use permit to allow for the proposed uses and allow the renovation and conversion of an existing 152,542 square foot, one-story warehouse at 34 feet high with no change in height into a three-story, 203,213 square foot mini warehouse self-storage space, including a U-Box storage warehouse consisting of 34,537 square feet and 3,050 square feet of retail space, along with a parking area on the north end of the lot, which would provide 46 covered RV parking storage spaces. The project is proposed to be completed in two phases, totaling 243,091 square feet of Building 4 area. Phase 1 is the conversion and revising of the existing interior warehouse area for storage of U-Boxes, totaling 34,537 square feet, along with other exterior building and parking lot improvements. Phase 2 would consist of renovating the remainder of the warehouse into three interior stories of self-storage space and conversion of the remaining retail space, totaling 3,050 square feet, along with the remainder of exterior improvements as shown in the provided table. The project, once again, is located at 2420 North Oxnard Boulevard, which is situated towards the north end of the city and consists of an existing vacant warehouse, with the exception of an approximate 2,000 square foot U-Haul retail center, which was approved under a separate minor modification permit. As seen in the northbound streetscape view along Oxnard Boulevard at the south end of the site is the existing U-Haul retail center and rental space. And the view from the southbound Oxnard Boulevard shows the existing vacant parking area that would be converted into the RV storage lot. As seen from the aerial view of the project site, the site is surrounded by the Southern Pacific Railroad on the north and east sides, which separate the project from adjacent commercial land uses. To the south is mixed commercial and auto repair uses, and to the west is the South Bank residential neighborhood and Casitas apartment homes. The subject site has a general plan land use designation of commercial general and is located within the General Commercial Plan Development C2 PD zoning district. The intent of the commercial general land use designation is to allow for retail centers and freestanding commercial uses along arterials, which may also include office and residential uses up to 18 dwelling units per acre, live, work, live, and mixed uses. The following provides some background and evolution of the project site. On September 1st, 1970, the City Council approved a plan development permit to permit the construction of a 155,000 square foot Sam Levitt's furniture warehouse and retail showroom. In 2016, the property was then acquired by U-Haul. And on January 23rd, 2017, they applied for a minor modification permit to allow for the establishment of a retail use within a 2,291 square foot portion of the building, also to restore non-conforming landscaping and lighting conditions on site, and to enhance the building architecture, all of which was then approved in 2018. And on August 21st, 2017, the SUP was formally submitted. The subject SUP was formally submitted. Between September 2017 and February 2022, multiple project completeness reviews were conducted and project revisions were submitted, including a formal resubmittal of the revised project that was made on October 15th, 2020. And then following completion of the DAC reviews of the revised project, a new initial study was prepared and circulated for public review. The mini warehouse and self-storage uses within the C2 zone is currently not a permitted use. In 1975, the City Council passed Resolution 6446, which established development standards for mini warehouses, which stated that these uses may locate in the CM and MI zones. Further, in 2009, the City Council passed Ordinance 2807, which removed mini warehouses as a permitted use in the C2 zone. As presented in the staff report at that time, the city determined that the general allowance of self-storage facilities was not consistent with the purpose and intent of the general plan for the C2 zone, and the use is not consistent with other retailing, office, and service-related uses permitted or conditionally permitted in the C2 zone. This change was processed as a cleanup action to make the Oxnard City Code language consistent with many warehouse policies adopted by the City Council in 1975 and the general plan. The overall site can be divided into two sections. The north side of the site will consist of the RV parking storage and rental staging area. The RV storage area will be secured by the decorative wrought iron sliding entry gate, with the rental staging area to the immediate south, buffered by a new landscape island and new perimeter landscaping. And the south section of the site consists of the existing warehouse building and additional parking lot and U-Haul retail center. The site also has two access points from Oxnard Boulevard via an existing driveway at the south end of the site and a driveway towards the north end of the site. As mentioned earlier in the presentation and the staff report, the building height will remain the same with no increase in massing or size. The modifications to the facade would implement neutral paint colors, minimal advertising, and a variety of materials to help create varied visual character consistent with the Oxnard City Code. The front of the building, visible from Oxnard Boulevard, as shown in the west elevation, would consist primarily of light-colored stone and ribbed metal paneling broken up by orange panels, which would mimic garage doors on the single-story section of the building. All other building elevations will share the same color scheme, similar to the adjacent structure, with beige colors and stone block outer wall construction with painted metal paneling near the roof. Consistency with the 2030 general plan is defined by the relationship between the 2030 general plan policies and the proposed project. Many policies are directly or indirectly applicable to the proposed project. Some of these key policies are Community Development Policy 1.2, in that it incentivizes infill development projects. Community Development Policy 4.2 and 4.4, commercial revitalization and redevelopment and improvement of commercial area aesthetics. Community Development Policy 9.2, revitalization and redevelopment of underutilized sites. Community Development Policy 9.3 and 9.4, gateway enhancement and view corridor preservation. And Community Development Policy 18.1, which intends to attract a new business to the city. These policies should be considered as part of the Planning Commission's recommendation. As noted earlier, the project is located within the general commercial plan development C2 PD zone district and is subject to the general commercial development standards and would generally conform to the applicable C2 development standards outlined in the Oxnard City Code for the general commercial land use. A parking demand study provided as attachment D of the staff report was completed to evaluate and determine the appropriate amount of required parking for the project. Currently, the Oxnard City Code does not stipulate parking requirements for many warehouse and storage uses. The study reviewed the parking requirements based on the existing Oxnard City Code for applicable retail and warehouse land uses and the ITE parking generation manual for the mini warehouse use. Based on the study, the project is required to provide a total of 63 spaces. In accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act, an environmental consultant under the supervision of the Planning Division staff prepared a mitigated negative declaration. The draft MND identified 3 areas: biological resources, air quality, and cultural resources, where the impacts were determined to be less than significant with mitigation incorporated. The final MND includes a mitigation, monitoring, and reporting program, and with the inclusion of these mitigations, staff determined that the project will not have a significant effect on the environment. In order for the Oxnard Planning Commission to recommend approval of the special use permit, the key findings that need to be made are the following. 1, the proposed use is in conformance with the general plan and the adopted policies of the City of Oxnard. 2, the nature, condition, and development of adjacent uses, buildings, and structures shall be considered, and no proposed special use permit shall be granted if the approval body finds such use will adversely affect or materially detrimental or be materially detrimental to the adjacent uses, buildings, or structures, or to the public health, safety, or general welfare. Number 3, that the site that is subject to the special use permit shall be adequate in size and shape to accommodate the yards, walls, fences, parking and loading facilities, landscaping, and items which may be required by section 16-532, the conditions. Number 4, the site that is subject to the special use permit shall be served by highways adequate in width and improved as necessary to carry the kind of quantity of traffic such use will generate. And number 5, the site that is subject to the special use permit shall be provided with adequate sewerage, water, fire protection, and storm drainage facilities. As required, the project was noticed in the newspaper. It was posted on site with an on-site posting, mailed to property owners within 300 feet, and as of to date, no public comments have been received. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission provide direction to city staff regarding the appropriateness of the proposed project and direct staff to return at the next regular meeting with a resolution providing a approval recommendation or a denial recommendation to City Council and continue the meeting to a date certain. This concludes staff's presentation, and staff would be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.